Good evening and welcome to Sports Unplugged on this beautiful Friday evening where it's a bit breezy outside, a little bit of drizzle in the air. It's Baltic and it's horrible today. We're sat here with Chris and Luke. Luke is making his debut tonight, and I'll tell you what, Luke knows his stuff when it comes to MMA, boxing, WWE, any alphabet soup wrestling organization you want to talk about. Luke knows his stuff, and just wanted to say welcome to you, Luke. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you for letting me come on.
My pleasure.
He's a big red as well. That's also
he is a massive red as well.
Yeah, massive Liverpool fan as well. So yeah, that's always good.
Bonus. In the chat, if you could do the usual stuff to like and subscribe, that would be amazingly helpful to us. And we're just going to get straight stuck into it. Luke, last weekend UFC 271. Big main event, but how did you find the card in total? How did you find the show? You know, was it what you were expecting?
The main event was exactly what I was expecting. It wasn't going to be the same as the first fight. I didn't think that there was going to be a finish. It went the distance like I predicted. The scoring was, I'd say 4-1 Adesanya was the way I scored it, but there was loads of I'd say controversy online saying that Whittaker should have won the belt, but after rewatching the fight again, he didn't really do enough to win it. It's all good taking Adesanya down, but he just popped straight back up. So
yeah,
it's not like he did anything to win. I think he even said that he just wanted to do enough to just outpoint him, which is when you're going for the title, you can't really just expect to go and outpoint someone. I think
unless you're going to dominate
the Darren Till fight when he just about beat him. He said, "Yeah, just got that final takedown in the last round, and that was enough to win over the judges." And he's talking about a trilogy. I don't particularly want to see it. I don't think the fans particularly want to see it.
No, but it's one of those fights. It's one of those divisions. Actually, there is some talent in there. Cannonier is there. There's a few others as well, but I mean, it's one of those mid divisions that he hasn't got a direct rival that you think.
Yeah,
and there's no one out there that's going to scare Adesanya. He went up in weight to light heavyweight, didn't he? To test himself, and it didn't work out. But I think it's middleweight he's at, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's just supreme. You know, he's 6'4". He makes the weight. That was my big thing with him. I thought going up to light heavyweight, it's at his size and his height, would he be able to come back down and make weight and be competitive at the weight again? And he was. Whittaker got him down multiple times, took him to the ground multiple times, but he was never able to control him while he was there. And that, for all the point scoring that you see in UFC, it's octagon control.
Yeah,
is one of the main ones. And if you don't have that, you can take someone down and they pop back up. There's no point scoring for that, really.
I think the closest he got was in the wrestling was the 5th round when he was on his back and trying to get that rear naked choke, but he was never close to getting it. And I think when Adesanya went up to light heavyweight, he didn't actually go up in weight. He just fought at his walk around weight, which was around 200 pounds, which didn't make sense to me. Like, if he's going to do it, he needs to do it properly. Spend some time away, build up the muscle mass to properly compete. But at middleweight,
it's a better division as well.
Yeah, because middleweight,
it's a much livelier division.
It's like at middleweight, he's got Cannonier next.
Yeah,
when I do expect him to beat Cannonier, but when you look at the other people he's not fought, Sean Strickland, Jack Hermanson had a main event the week before. That was poor. I didn't even stay up to watch it. I watched the highlights, and
that's never a good sign. Bonkers in the chat there talking about Tai Tuivasa. That I was expecting. I didn't know what I was expecting in that fight. It was, and that I suppose that's the beauty of the heavyweights is you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah. Especially when you come down from the top two, because I think the top two are elite. They're far and away better than the rest, but the rest are pretty good amongst themselves. I mean, he looks next for Ngannou. They need to build up a GAN fight for.
Yeah.
They can't go straight back to that. They need to build that up and go again. But Tuivasa would be an interesting one. You know, he's not a small guy.
No. I think the heavyweight division is interesting because Ngannou's had surgery on his knees, so he's out for a year minimum. Yeah. So you're left with putting an interim title fight on.
Didn't he fight with a torn ACL and MCL?
Yeah, so basically just blew his knee out 3 weeks before.
And still forced, which is just scary.
And still won,
so that was why he had the bandages on his knees that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it when he finished. He said, "I've got a partial tear in the ACL, and I've snapped my MCL." I did it 3 weeks ago.
Incredible, but I feel like the UFC want to do Stipe John Jones for the interim title, but Stipe, I don't know whether or not he's done. John Jones, you don't know. He doesn't. He talks a big game, but it's 2 years since he last fought.
He also talked himself
a bit like it's time to put up or shut up.
He also
John Jones would be great if he has a roast beef dinner. He likes that. He likes his meat from certain areas of the world that help him out as he goes.
Yeah, I think he weighs like 275 pounds. Like that's the weight he wants to get to, then cut down to heavyweight, which makes no sense to me.
He's also his own worst enemy from what I've read around him. You know, he's a controversial character at the best. It's probably the politest way of putting it. You know, somebody wins titles and gets them stripped off him very quickly.
Yeah.
Cheers, Steve. Nice one. Evening Reds. Luke having a chat with his two dads. Nice way to age me there, pal.
Yeah, older brother. I'm not sick in dad.
Barry, am I suggesting he takes Peds? Google is your friend.
It's been done. It's been done for it. So
yeah. Google is your friend.
That's why he's been stripped the titles for failing drugs tests.
Yeah.
He's had issues.
What a knockout! What a knockout! I just feel sorry for Derek Lewis because that's the second time he's fought in his hometown, and that's the second time it's been stopped. So if the UFC ever ring to ask fancy fighting in Houston, he should just go, nah, not for me. I don't fancy getting knocked out again.
Put him in New York, put him in Vegas.
Has Ngannou got one fight left on his deal, or was that last fight his technical last of his deal?
I think he's got a champion's clause which extends. I think if he lost, he would have been out of contract, but since he won, he's got an extra fight left. But if he wins, UFC just need to pay him a bit more. I think he'll be happy.
I mean, what were the numbers? When you look at the numbers for what we're expecting Brook to be tomorrow night and what Ngannou would have earned from that Jan fight, off the top of your head, have you ballpark figures?
I think Ngannou got 600,000. Like, that was his pay for that fight, which is ridiculous compared to what Khan and Brook are probably going to make.
That's always the argument.
5 million each. Like they're going to have a massive retirement payday compared to arguably the baddest man on the planet. Just getting
that's the big discrepancy at the moment with UFC is what they pay the fighters, especially the big marquee fighters.
Unless you're McGregor, who can go look at the pay-per-views. I mean, practically the top 5 pay-per-views are all McGregor, so he can walk around and go, yeah, I want X amount, and the rest of the fighters are just fighting for scraps.
Yeah. Well, UFC 272 coming up at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas is Kobe Covington against Masvidal. Now, it's in March 5th. It's a way off, but it's definitely one to look forward to because these two were best buds who really, really have taken an intense dislike to each other, and it's not made up. These two have fallen out in the biggest way possible. And are you looking forward to it?
The matchup on paper you should be looking forward to, but I feel like this is going to be so one-sided because this fight is around 3 years too late because this is a Jorge Masvidal that's just been brutally knocked out. This is not the one when he was going on that streak, beat Darren Till, then knocked out Ben Askren, then beat Nate Diaz. This is a one that's on 2 consecutive losses, just got finished. And I just feel like it's going to be fairly one-sided, I think. It's not going to be as close as what people think. I know people want Masvidal
Covington
to win.
needs this. He needs a win and a performance.
Yeah, if he finishes,
is Masvidal capable of spoiling the fight for him?
I don't know. If he can keep it on his feet, then he's got as good a chance as any. But I feel like Covington's just better. He's a better wrestler than Masvidal, and if he takes anything from the first Usman Masvidal, just you take down Masvidal and you just negate everything he's good at. So it could potentially be a very one-sided main event.
I mean, look, I'm looking forward to it because I think the build-up to it is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, the press conference is going to be money.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think Covington just draws. Is the character he's built up for himself draws, and UFC need him. They need characters like him to build around. I mean, Chris, tomorrow night, Amir Khan, Brook.
Yeah.
Sky have done their utmost to build this fight into a supreme event. And what do you think of it? I mean, what do you think of the two fighters, first and foremost?
But both past the best. Should have happened years ago. Got very little interest in it. When they were both at the peak and when they were still, bigger names than what they are now, it would have been a great fight. But I'm not being funny. It's just a payday. I ain't paying 20 quid to watch two well pasted boxers, knock each other out. I don't see the appeal. If I could find it for nothing, I might watch it. But I'm just like, I won't waste 20 quid on it. I think Brook will win because I think Khan's more likely to get knocked out. But I just think it'd be a dog of a fight. I just don't think it'll be that good. I'm sorry to put down on it. I saw it. I thought, not for me. That's not for me.
I can't agree with Chris more. This fight is 10 years too late. This is a fighter with no chin in Khan, and this is a fighter that is near enough got one eye in Kell Brook. This is one massive payday for both of them. I just think even if one of them wins, it's not gonna accelerate them to the world title picture because both of their last fights have come losses to arguably the two best fighters in their division. Yeah. So it's not like they're going to go back up and fight Crawford or Spence.
Put it this way, Kev. I think I'd rather watch Formula One reruns.
That's my guy.
And as Laura Duff goes, that it pains me to even say that to her. So that's how uninteresting I find this.
It's such a shame because I watched both their careers. Khan from the Olympics onto what he's done as a pro. He's been a very good boxer, a very good fighter who at his level was very, very good. But
I don't think he ever recovered from that first brutal knockout he got. I don't think he ever quite
greatest Prescott.
I don't think he ever quite bounced back from that the way he
knocked
thought
the steam out. That knocked the stuffing out of him. And Danny Garcia, they underrated Danny Garcia in a big way. And Garcia went on to have a phenomenal career in his own right. But then when he started mixing it with the true cream, it's it shows the level. I mean, this is a good British fight. It's a good British fight for bragging rights.
Yeah.
Is it worth? Probably. It's not for me. It's not worth paying for. It's a shocking fight to pay for, but it's
the best thing you could have done with that fight would have been if you'd have got what's his name now? The British fight everyone wants. Fucking two heavyweights got out my head. They both got out my head now.
Oh, Fury and
AJ. If that was like the undercard before.
If it was the undercard to that kind of fight, it would.
I think everyone would go, "Oh, a good nostalgia fight, which will still do big numbers." that'll probably do bigger numbers because people want to see the other one. And then the big fight you all want to see. You probably then go watch it. Then you go like, oh, at least that's something interesting. Ooh,
it's just a shame.
As a headline fight, it just doesn't do it to me.
Yeah, I looked at the card. The rest of the card, I mean, you've got Fraser Clark is making his professional debut. Olympic bronze medalist, heavyweight. Is
that the guy who got the really bad cut eye?
Yeah, but he's one to watch for the future. And Natasha Jonas is fighting as the chief support fight for this. But in fairness, I think it's a weak card for $24.95 in the UK or whatever it is. You know, it's €30 over here.
Oh, it's 20 minutes. So Ian Barron in the chat said it should be on ITV4.
Barry Devnias wins Katie Taylor's next fight. That should be a blockbuster. Katie Taylor, I think usually they try to put her fights on in or around St. Patrick's weekend. And I think her next fight is in New York. Don't quote me on it. But I think it's a big one.
No, 3-minute rounds. 3-minute rounds.
Is it going? They're going to do it over 3-minute rounds.
I hope so, because
it would be amazing if they did.
Needed to progress women's boxing is they finally move it from 2 minutes to 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and pay just a little bit more as well.
It would. I think what you find is the better fighters would be able to build attacks and sustain pressure, whereas 2-minute rounds is everything's 100 miles an hour. You stop, and then it's 100 miles an hour again. You don't get to see the quality shining through, but there are some really good women fighters out there at the minute.
The best knowledge I can give for it, it's a bit like making women's boxing a bit like T20 cricket.
Yeah. You're not far off.
Which is probably, it doesn't help anyone. In some ways, it makes it exciting, but it doesn't allow the best fighters like Katie to show off the skill set.
Yeah, and show Katie Taylor probably needs 3-minute rounds, because she'd probably have more knockouts on her record.
Yeah, she would.
There was 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, she's so accurate with her punching, but she's not concussive. She's never been a concussive puncher, but she's so accurate that if she had 3-minute rounds, 4 or 5 rounds of that would break up the vast majority of fighters. And St. Paddy's Day in New York, there's no one sober guaranteed. Yeah, you're not wrong. St. Paddy's Day anywhere this time round with all the parades and everything open back up, man. St. Paddy's Day is going to be epic, especially as our fixture with Arsenal has been rearranged for, I think, the 15th of March or the 16th of March. Yeah, 15th of March.
The Wednesday before we play.
Wednesday. It's the 13th. I think it's the 13th because I saw Arsenal fans moaning that they've got to play three games in a week. So complaining about having no games to play to now having 3 in the week.
Yeah, because we've got an extra bank holiday that weekend, or that the St. Patrick's Day is going to be two-day bank holiday.
Oh, nice.
So, and the Arsenal game is the night before that starts, so that's going to kick off the celebrations for us.
There we go. Ian Barron, hi guys, I'm a Donaldson FC fan. We were made bankrupt in 2011, reformed in 2012, demoted 4 leagues, and we are currently fan-owned in the National League North. We have 3 promotions to date, which is cool. Cool to see. In fairness to him, he's also said he's just subscribed as well. So thanks for
well done. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do try and get more fans from other clubs to come on this show because, look, we will talk about Liverpool because that's kind of what we do, but we do try and do other sports and try and talk around other clubs. We try not to make it too Liverpool-centric.
Well, just the reclaimer there asking about the Super Bowl. Did you guys stay up to watch it?
I'll be honest, I fell asleep. I saw the first quarter and I fell asleep. So I've basically got it on record to try and watch it this week. I actually know the score, but I will sit and watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I've seen the halftime show about 2 hours ago.
I watched the trailers for some of the Marvel stuff that was shown, and that was it. Because that was the night after UFC, and I stayed up all night, and I stayed up all day.
Yeah, you did watch along, didn't you, on your channel?
Yeah, and then I stayed up because usually I'd go to sleep after the watch along, but I went out to walk my dog in the morning. Now I just didn't go to sleep until the next night, and there was no way I was doing back to back staying up. So
to be that young. Those were the days.
Should we talk about BetMate?
Yeah,
which is a bit different this week. So, in our chat, Gav asked in our Telegram chat, right, first person who puts their hand up can pick the team. So Daniel Dawson has picked the team. So the team we've got is based on all the 3 o'clock kickoffs for Saturday. So he had to pick max 2 players from any club. So the team we've got is we've got Mendy in goal, back 2 of Gabriel from Arsenal and Van Dijk, midfield of Eze of Crystal Palace, Coutinho, who's also vice captain, and then up front he's got Salah as captain and Zaha. Then the bench we've got Martinez from Villa, Salois, I can never say his name, from Southampton. Yeah. I always get his name wrong. I'm really sorry. And then, which I think is a sensible backup midfielder, is Jorginho, because Eze's a bit. I would say Eze's touch and go because he doesn't start every week. So at least if Eze doesn't start,
I would swap him out for Michael Elise for Palace because he's probably going to start.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think Michael Elise would have been registered in the game as a forward.
Yes,
so right. I think you'd have had to pick. You have to pick a midfielder in certain positions, so I can understand why he went that way.
Yeah, the benefit of the Jorginho, if he has to get put instead of Eze, so say Eze doesn't start, Jorginho starts, is Jorginho could do a bit like the Fabinho points gathering, because because you get lots of points in BetMate for interceptions and tackles, which Jorginho does a lot of.
Plus, he scores the penalties, and
takes the penalties. Whereas Eze will get more of the flair points, so you'll get like the number of passes he gets, the interceptions, and the shots on goal. So it's either or. And then Dennis from Watford as the backup striker if one of the other 2 lads don't start. I mean, Dennis is in a pretty good vein of form. So if it was me, the only thing I would probably change is that I may have started Jorginho over Eze, but that's kind of a flip for coin, to be honest. Yeah. The rest of it, I was like, probably. I
would have probably taken the Southampton striker, Borja. I might have gone for him over with Zaha.
Yeah, I mean, plus they are playing Everton, so
or in fairness, Dominic Calvert-Lewin wouldn't have been a bad shout.
If he's fit,
if he's fit, that's it.
Hasn't he broke his toe again? He loses track. He loses track. He's becoming Gary Lineker, isn't he? He's breaking his toe. So with this one, if we finish 5th, fingers crossed, minimum 20 quid in the pot. Then, so
we've got to start getting.
Not to point blame you.
Well, you can,
Kev. Well, I might just do it anyway. But we were shite on the Wednesday one.
The Wednesday night, I had nothing. I bear no responsibility here whatsoever for that.
I think the Wednesday one we finished 43rd, and the bottom was 44. So we didn't even. In fairness, so far, mate, you may have got the best score. I mean, we still didn't win
the only way is up for that. I think.
I know, but hey, listen, it's all a bit of fun. But
Jonathan, there, Watford hasn't scored since Hodgson came in.
Oh, really?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh. The algorithm's not work. That algorithm's not working yet. But it leads nicely on to if we do win some points, which fingers crossed we will. We can then whatever we do when we are going to we will be donating to our charity, which will be Féileacáin.
Yeah, and look, the link to Féileacáin is in the chat description below. You guys all in the chat all know about Féileacáin by now. It's also on our website, lfcdt.com, and the show's Insta and Twitter pages, pin tweet. All we ask is if you could donate, fantastic. If you can't, share it to your WhatsApp groups, onto your Facebook feed, Twitter feed, and just get the word out that way. We're a fifth of the way there towards our target. We've got a few months left to go, so all the shares, it does make a difference. Would really appreciate it. Let's get into the Premier League, guys, because there's some decent games this weekend.
Then we'll do the wrestling. We can have a laugh at the wrestling as well after that. So, did you want to do first? Do the early kickoff?
Start at the start, yeah. West Ham, Newcastle.
Big blow for Newcastle, though. Trippier, he's had an operation on his 5th metatarsal, and one of the twist categories, he's pretty good on giving you like diagnostics and injuries, medically how long it take. They're saying 8+ weeks. Said he's touch and go whether he'll play again this year.
Wasn't that the same injury that Rooney had?
Possibly, yeah. So
it was Rooney or Beckham. It was.
I think they both had it.
I think Rooney.
Yeah, so I think he's touch and go now for the play again this season, which is a blow for Newcastle because he's been a big catalyst for them getting 3 wins on the bounce. Scored 2 free kicks as well, and Trippier's a really good player. I mean, he won La Liga as well, so that's a blow for them because it just changed the dynamic. Because Manquillo, he's a solid fullback. He ain't Kieran Trippier, so that is going to change their dynamic of how they attack. And West Ham, they're in and around the top 4.
Yeah,
and they do like all these ones of the top 4. They're doing the best to give it away. Because West Ham have just gotten a little bit off the boil.
I think that might be just losing a bit of steam. I think no signings in January. I think that's going to hamper them.
And the concern for them is they probably needed to stay forth with a bit of a cushion because they are going to start playing because they've got Europe kicking in soon. Got Europe and everything like that kicking in. So that's I think part of me wants West Ham to go get it just because I quite like to just see somebody else in it.
Yeah,
it's quite nice. And I sort of look at the others going, yeah, I'm like them or Wolves. Don't like Man United. Not really fussed on the London side. So in a nice plus way, I'll Wolves or West Ham will do all right for me. Plus, beat it every day. But
Newcastle have been in a bit of form, but without Trippier, they're going to be reverting back, and they don't necessarily travel to. They've never really travelled well, let alone travelling to London well. I've got them down for 2. I got West Ham down for 2-0 win.
I've got an optimistic 2-1 to West Ham.
I'm going 2-1 as well.
Yeah, it'll depend on how West Ham handle the Europa League games.
It's no Zuma as well. I don't know what's going on with him, but I don't imagine him playing at all.
No, and Laura said Manquillo's out as well.
So that'll be Emil Kraft at right back, or maybe Jacob Murphy.
The reason I've said 2-1 is Diop's played in replacement of Zuma, and he just looks really off form. Diop, but he hasn't played much, so
yeah. The thing is, I think there's goals on the West Ham side. It'll depend on
Bowen's. Like he's mentioned, Bowen is on fire at the moment.
8 goals, 8 assists this season in the Prem.
God, Joe and the whole of social media lost their shit when he was linked with Liverpool. Maybe it wasn't such a bad link after all.
That's changed now. Anthony's been the player link though recently.
I do like him. Me and Kev talked about him in the summer as a one to watch. We thought he'd look quite good for Ajax, and he's done well.
He's looked good for Brazil as well. Yeah, 2 goals and 7
I do
caps.
like him a lot.
Well, we do like a South American player as well. We've got a few of them.
Yeah.
So Arsenal, Brentford. Now is the Arsenal going to go ahead because it's raining? It's windy.
Raining, windy. Did you see the?
They might not want to play. Yeah, they might not want to play in that.
Ivan Toney's missing for Brentford, and Brentford to me look like they're in real danger.
They're looking like they could do.
They're like a rock. They're just falling.
They're sinking quickly.
They just don't look like they could get a result out of anything. But saying that, if you want to try and get a result against a big side, Arsenal are flaky enough.
Dr. Arsenal will see you now.
I've got to be honest though.
Their disciplinary record is so bad that you never know with Arsenal.
Who's available?
One, who's available, and 2, are they going to lead themselves down to 10 men at any point in the game?
The other thing I would say with Arsenal is, to be fair, they are very good at being flat track buddies at home, and that's I don't mean that as a criticism. Bottom half sides at home, Arsenal tend to dispatch most of them, or they find a way. Which is what you need to, especially if you're going to get in the run for top 4. It's kind of what you need to do because that top 4 spot for them is open, especially with the games in hand they've got.
And their games in hand are like against Chelsea, Spurs, and Wolves.
And
those are their games in hand. So
and they'll have one against us as well. So it'd be interesting. But I put 3-0 Arsenal because I think Brentford, they've just got feelings of that Reading side of the early 2000s, the one that basically were comfortably mid-table. No one talks about Reading, and it got to the last game of the season and went, shit, Reading got relegated. They just slowly dropped.
Yeah.
I think they'll have just about enough to stay up, but they're making life really difficult themselves. I mean, we'll see. But I think Arsenal 3-0. I think Saka
I went 2-1. Luke?
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah. I just don't see how, as long as Arsenal turn up, they win. And they could win handy. They could run out here. But it's, you got two London sides playing with each other. I guarantee you when Brentford came up, there are certain games in the calendar the players would have been looking out for, and this is one. So you hope they can get themselves up for it, but at the same time, I just don't see it. I think they're in a whole world of trouble. Villa, Watford.
Villa,
I got this 2-0 because I just think Watford are another side can't score, and if you can't score, you're gone.
And they're sinking as well.
I'm intrigued to see what Villa do in the next 4 or 5 games because
they need a win.
I know a lot of people. Look, there is the clamber for Gerrard to be Liverpool manager. I'm a bit resistant to it at the moment. But I always said I want to see what he does when he hits a rut of form, which they're in a bit of a poor bit of form.
Yeah,
this is what you want to see what a manager does. Do we do a Brendan Rodgers where they change everything?
Yeah, or
does he stick to what he knows? And how does he challenge the players? Because he can't do what he did in Rangers, where he basically just called the players out and said, "You're all shite." And if you don't pull your finger out, you're out.
Yeah, that's but it took him time to build that Rangers squad, and he was given the luxury of time, knowing that it's a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do that tactic with Villa because I don't think that tactic works. Or if you're going to do it, you've got to call players out very rarely, so then it has a big impact, and people go, "Jesus Christ, he never does that." Too early in the rain to do that sort of thing. I think Villa win. I do think they'll win comfortably there because I think Watford are dreadful.
Yeah.
So I put 3-1, mainly because Conte is suspended still.
Yeah,
Chambers and Mings at the back.
Yeah, so that gives you a bit of a chance defensively. They've been poor, but I just fancy the likes of Ramsey and Coutinho to get goals against Watford. Watford will always give you chances.
I like Ramsey. I do.
I do.
I think he needs another season at Villa. Personally, I wouldn't be looking at him next summer, but the summer after. I hope he doesn't sign an extension to his deal at Villa. Let's put it that way. Whatever contract he's on at the minute, I hope to God that not next summer, but the summer after, he's only got 2 years left on it, and then you'd be looking at him.
Unless he does a Grealish, signs an extension with a bit more money, but has an agreed buyout clause.
Maybe
if a European side pays me X amount, you can go.
Or if Gomez goes to Villa, maybe we.
Harry's talking there. That'd be interesting because Watkins hasn't done it. Matty Cash has not found his form from last season, and Douglas Luiz, I think, might be a bit big for his boots. Where he was doing okay at the start of the season, and a lot of Villa's problems have come off of him being poor. Yeah, that'd be interesting, Laura. If it is 2025, and say we go and look at him in the summer of 2024, that'd make it really interesting.
Thing is, though, he's a Villa fan, as he's come through the academy as well. So it's like Saka. It's like I like Saka from Arsenal. It take a lot to get him out of Arsenal, though.
I don't think so.
2 years left on this deal in
that's where it's going to help you but it's whether you can play in the heartstrings of do you want to leave your boyhood club.
Yeah, I don't. I think that football fandom leaves players as soon as they become pros. Once they've been in their first team for a couple of years, I think they stop becoming fans and they become employees, and they will look to maximize their careers. They might love the club. I don't doubt that players love the clubs like we love watching Liverpool. But at the same time, if he wants to retire with maybe a League Cup to his name, he stays at Villa. If he wants to go and challenge for Champions Leagues and win titles and international honours, he moves to a top 4 club.
He does.
And the same with Saka, for that matter.
Yeah, I see Red Steve say, Garouche is a Villa fan, money beats laws. It does. But the difference is, Ramsey, he's 20?
Yeah, 20.
I think when Owls Grealish, mid-20s, isn't he? 25?
Yeah.
That's why I could see Ramsey. I could see Ramsey signing the contract to keep him there, and then he'll leave when he's 23, 24.
Yeah,
which actually is probably a prime.
It's probably the age you want to get him.
The age to do your next move. I think if he has for 2 years playing for Villa, hopefully then for Gerrard they'll get him into Europe, which I think is the next level.
Well, I went 2-0 Villa.
I got 3-1. Henry VIII in the house. Villa Stevie G are the best improved team since sacking the manager mid-season. This, in my opinion. I mean, to be fair, Villa they play a lot. I know that I've seen the report for they are playing a lot better.
Yeah, they are playing better, but it's points on the board.
But also,
they're not putting points on the board.
Gerrard's done the thing that the other manager wouldn't do, which is he's decided Watkins is the man.
Yeah, I know.
The bench. And then if he decides not to, he'll go, right, Ings, you'll start. Watkins, he's done what everyone said they should have done, which is pick one, and the other one's just your bench option.
Yeah,
which is not a bad way. Which is not a bad place to be. Having one of them come off the bench, that's kind of the idea of having them.
Yeah,
they just don't work as a two.
I just think they're playing really attractive football, but they can't defend for shit. And if you can't fix that, then you've got serious problems. Okay. You know, because they don't score enough to be shit at the back.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get caught out. They're not putting up the kind of numbers or the kind of points that people think they are. They've lost a lot of games, and they've dropped a lot of points, having scored enough goals to win games. So
they're still going to beat City last game, though, aren't they, to give the title?
It's going to be crucial for Villa, I think, because I do believe that Gerrard will be looking at that team and going, yeah, you're getting replaced. I'm looking at Mings. Maybe if Gomez is still unhappy at Liverpool, maybe he goes to Villa. I do think Villa need the defensive midfielder. Douglas Luiz is all right at progressing the ball, but as a defensive shield, doesn't really do it for me. And when there was rumours of him being linked away for 30 million, Villa should have snapped whoever's hand that was.
I think he's
linked to him.
Yeah, I think he's still looking for his move. Yeah, Luiz. I think he thinks he's ready for his move, but his form.
I think City had like a buyback clause to him when he went to Villa.
City won't go anywhere near him.
Well, City aren't stupid. I mean, look, we could all take the mick out of City and the money they have, but to be fair to them, most of their signings, they're pretty wise with stuff like this. They're not going to buy someone like him. They don't think he's good enough. They'll know what he's
took out Ferran Torres to Barcelona, and he's not really pulled up trees. So,
thanks for the hate. Thanks, Harry. Very kind of you.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Right, let's skim over this one because I think this one's going to be a fucking walkover. To be honest, Brighton, Burnley. I think I've got it down as 2-0.
I've got 2-1. Only because Weghorst is apparently fit, which gives them
a chance. But
him and Corner gives them something. But I think Brighton are too good. The only thing is Brighton have got
Lewis Dunk could be missing.
Lewis Dunk
suspended. Yeah,
and they were so unlucky. From the bits I've watched against United,
but it's very typical Brighton, isn't it?
That's the story of Brighton's season.
Score. Yeah, the XG Kings as they are.
Oh yeah, my prediction for Villa Watford is 3-0 Villa.
Sorry, Luke.
By the way,
sorry, we didn't ask you.
Sorry, Luke. My bad.
So yeah, 3-0 Villa. No.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's more. It could be one of those. Palace Chelsea. Chelsea coming back as Club World Champions.
First time they've won it, isn't it?
Yeah, first time they've ever won it. And look, I'm not going to knock it. I think, because to get to go and play in this competition, you got to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
So
I also think, well, I can talk from our point of view when we won it. It was nice to actually witness a first. You know what I mean? Because everyone goes we've seen the first Premier League title, but for most fans, they're going, well, it's we've seen 18 before this. So we have. I've seen us win a few FA Cups. I've been lucky enough to see us win a few European trophies. But at least the World Club Championship, going, we've never won it. So when we'd won it, it's quite nice to go, well, at least I've seen us win something that's the first. It's one of those things you think you don't see very often. So for Chelsea fans, and Chelsea were well worth the win. It was a dog of a game, interesting penalty decisions because I think the one that won it for Chelsea was soft, but I actually think the one that they conceded was very soft. So classic VAR situations. But I've got a 1-1 for this.
It'd be interesting because when we came back, we were buzzing off the back of it. But it was the right time of year for us. When we came back, we went straight in to play Leicester.
But we're also on a nice run of form though going into it.
Yeah,
Chelsea haven't been. They've drawn. They haven't lost many games, but they've drawn a lot of games.
Yeah. I just don't think Palace have enough.
But Palace are also the draw kings.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's a great ground if the fans get up.
Yeah.
Plus Gallagher can't play against Chelsea. So that's going to be massive.
That's true.
Yeah, I forgot that for my fancy football team, which was
no, I went for Chelsea 3-0. I just think Chelsea come back, and I think that while they were away, nobody put a
pressure on
run together. Yeah,
no,
and they'll come back and think we've got away with this, and we've got games in hand, and we can just put a foot down and get away from this lot and make ourselves safe and concentrate on the Champions League again.
Kev Ball says Chelsea are one win in 5 in the at the moment.
That's it. They've had a horrific January, and
when you look at the fixtures,
they come back better for it.
But when you look at the fixtures they lost, there's only a City aside.
Yeah,
the games you're expecting them to win
and beat Spurs.
Yeah. So there were games you're expecting them to win, really. So
we got Norwich at home. 3 p.m. kickoff. This is what I mean. There's a load of 3 p.m.s tomorrow. 6 3 p.m. kickoffs tomorrow. We've got Norwich at home, and are you expecting changes?
Yeah.
I hope so.
I've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 from the midweek game.
I don't have
Luke.
I can see.
I
don't think he'll do 8, but I could make an argument for 8 changes, and it still looks a strong side.
I think he does 4. I think there's no Jota, so I expect Firmino to play. I hope Diaz plays instead of Mane.
Well, should
maybe
we do an 11?
And then I imagine Keita will come in.
I think Alisson will start, but there is a feeling in me that goes he might throw Kelleher in. Because Kelleher's not played since the Arsenal game, and
he's got a cup final to get ready for.
He's going to play in the cup final. So, do you really want to throw a keeper who's not played for a few weeks? Because even if Chelsea go with Kepa, which I think they might do instead of Mendy, Kepa's played a lot of games because of Mendy being away in the AFCON. So, if you can't afford to throw Kelleher in against Norwich, when can you throw him in? And to be fair, we threw him in away at Stamford Bridge and he played well. So, that could be an argument. I think you see Milner at right back because you've got to rest Trent at some point, and I don't think you want to rest Trent against Leeds.
Agreed.
I think Matip and Van Dijk will be your 2, and then I think Simicast will get a run out.
Okay.
And then I think a full midfield change. I think he goes Henderson in the 6, Keita and Jones.
Okay,
is what.
And then front?
Salah, Bobby, and Diaz. And Salah basically because if you try and rest him, he'll kill you. So. He's just got that. You just tell Salah's just got that look. It's nothing to do with contractor. If you rest him, it's like the worst thing he could ever do. He's just a player. He's one of those players that he just wants to be rested.
I think if he scores today, I think he gets his 150th Liverpool goal. I think,
and he want to do that at home. Now it might be that Klopp says to him, "That's fine. Well, you can play. You can try and get 150 goal. You're only getting an hour."
Yeah,
which might put a bit of nice for him. But I want Diaz to start. I want to see what he can. I want to see him again because look, every time he's gone, he does. He just gets. He hasn't done anything spectacular yet. But I keep looking, thinking every time he gets the ball, you're on the edge of your seat, thinking something's going to happen. It just gives you that feeling he's going to do it. I think maybe because he's a new player and he's just a bit more direct, But his link play is really good. So, and for me, they just need to find a bit of form. Listen, great header. I've been joking, winding Callum up from Coppish, saying it was actually a flick on. He just like his passing, got it. Like his passing, he got it wrong, and it went in goal. He was actually trying to flick it onto someone.
That's a great goal,
but jokes aside, the one thing Firmino's developed in his game, which is a real pain in the arse, is he's given the ball away, which is setting up attacks. Firmino never gave the ball away. That was one thing you could criticise for his goal scoring and not scoring enough at home. If you give him the ball, you could never get it off him. He'd protect it so well. And he seems to have lost that edge of, keeping the balls, giving silly free kicks, silly fouls away. He was setting up some great attacks for Inter at times, which was highly
maddening. Luke, what would you start with?
I'd probably go Alisson in goal. is that Milner or Trent or maybe Gomez? But
Gomez, yeah.
I don't know about Gomez, so I'll probably go Milner, just like Chris. I probably agree with the back four as well. I think it'll be Milner. No, not Milner. Be Henderson in the 6, Keita. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Mm.
And then I think it'll be.
I'm not a fan of Keita and Ox in the same midfield.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just thinking.
Last time I saw it was Brighton at home, wasn't it? And it was.
Oh God,
it didn't work.
Norwich are missing some key players.
I might just pick the same team as you.
Yeah, Krul, Rubb, and Adair are all out. Kabak is back from illness, so
yeah, Adamaida is. It's a real shame because
he's playing well.
He's playing well, and from an Irish point of view, we need him.
Yeah,
we need him to start to show what we think he's capable of, and he's been doing really well. But my lineup would be Alisson, Trent, Matip, Konate, Tsimikas. I got Fabinho, Jones, and Naby, and then I go with Salah, Sadio, and Diaz up front.
Okay,
I play Sadio through the middle,
which he's done before. And he does it, and he does it
well.
Needs
a bit of a rest, personally.
See, I don't. The reason why I don't is I think these guys thrive on games. Remember, this is the same Sadio who came back off of, I think it was an AFCON in the summer, a tournament in the summer with 2 weeks break and went straight into preseason game.
Yes.
The guy just loves to play. And I don't know, I just think if you're going to rest Virgil, and I think Virgil needs to be, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to take him out.
Mm.
If you're going to do it, you either do it in this game or guaranteed he's going to rest him in the FA Cup game. But I wouldn't mind seeing him have a little break.
Yeah, I think
because the Leeds game need to go strong.
Yeah, I think it's the FA Cup game when he rests Virgil. I agree with what you're saying because he's, he needs.
It's no harm, and if you can't take him out of a game and you can't trust Matip and Konate against the Norwich, then they're not as good as we think they are.
Yeah, but as Klopp would say, he's in a lovely rhythm at the moment, and he's getting closer and closer to pre knee injury Virgil because he had that nonchalance about him. Where
Reclaimer asked there about what's the obsession with resting players? It's not resting them; it's rotating them.
Just keeping players fresh.
If you've got a big squad, you got to use them. Otherwise, you end up in the Aspas situation where you've got a lad who's not played for barely played 6 months, and you throw him into a game, going, "Go on, lad, win us the game." And
see, Henry VIII there, Harvey deserves a run out. Needs an easy game after Inter. Look, I think the Inter game showed how his match sharpness is nowhere near the level.
Yeah, and he probably needs to be.
Harvey himself wants it to be at.
I think we need to manage him like Guardiola managed Foden. I'm not saying the same player, but there's loads of times where Foden would get a couple of games and he'd disappear for 2-3 games. Get a couple, and it was to keep the edge and the hunger in him, but also he could learn off it. So he'll go away and think about what he did well at Inter. So he has the high of playing against Inter, but then he go with what he needs to learn and what he needs to focus on. And they'll say, "Watch the Norwich game," and then he wouldn't surprise if they throw him in against Leeds. Because Klopp likes a redemption story, so play against the club where you got your injury, that sort of thing will do him good. And remember, he's still coming back from a horrific injury, so you can't backload him back to back this early. You've got to build it. Listen, if he starts, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. He's a good player.
I think we've pretty much got 3 games a week for this foreseeable now.
Yeah, until the end of March. Actually, I think pretty much at the end of the season, it's going to be 3 games a week.
Because
especially if we go through it. I mean, we're talking about playing United after the Arsenal game. Assuming we beat Norwich, the United game's getting bumped because that's the FA Cup weekend.
Yeah, that's the Cup weekend, yeah.
So, so again, that's another 3 games a week that's going to get kicked further down the road. So
down the line. I just think that you've got a big squad. We've got one injury, and we hope that that's nothing serious, but
yeah, we're hoping so, aren't we? We're hoping because
this is where I think the Premier League have missed a trick. Where we saw it in the Champions League with the 5-sub rule, we saw it.
Oh no!
We see it in the domestic cups, with the 5-sub rule, it gives you so many more options that you can.
I think you see it in other leagues as well.
Yeah, you see it across Europe and France.
Apart from this one.
But we are accused of being big club bias because it helps us more, allegedly.
Because Sean Dyche moans that the top clubs would
What's
get
interesting,
the advantage.
Sean Dyche, I think recently has sort of changed his tune, saying we can't run these players into the ground. We've got to be protecting our players.
Because he knows he's about to go down, that's why.
Because he's now realised, shit, yeah. But the difference is, I think the problem Sean Dyche says is his 4th and 5th sub will be 2 kids.
Yeah.
Which isn't ideal, but then
the kids might surprise you.
But also long-term future of the club, if they're good enough.
Yeah.
That's 2 assets you found. I mean, listen, some of our biggest assets at the moment are Trent, came through the academy, got dropped in when we in Old Trafford. Elliott, youngster, we've done that with. And Jones, as much as he gets slagged off, is still a good squad option. They can save you a fortune or allow you to spend your money somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can have Jones going, I'll be your 7th choice midfielder. Great. That's money. We don't need to buy a 7th choice midfielder. We'll go and get the money for somewhere else. Luis Diaz. That's kind of the benefit of it. So
yeah. Look, I honestly believe that the 5 subs is going to stay. It's got to be. It was brought in for the right reasons around COVID, but I honestly think it's going to be one of those things that it's adopted by FIFA and UEFA throughout football, and it will just become the norm.
Making that inter-game, Christ almighty, thank God we had 5 subs.
Yeah, thank God, yeah.
That triple sub was exactly what we needed at the right time.
Yeah, and the difference in the squads that we were able to make the changes, and Inter for how well they played, and I thought they were really good. They couldn't do anything off the bench. But look, how do you see it going? And give me your scorers.
Ooh, I don't think it's going to be a walkover like people think. I think this might be similar to the City Norwich game. I think Norwich are going to
4-0?
Give it a go. But once we get the first goal, I reckon the floodgates will open. So I'm going to go 3-0 Liverpool. I think Liverpool need to be wary of that goal difference between us and City as well. I think it's +5 at the moment. So I think Liverpool need to have one eye on making sure that we reduce that gap.
Yeah, but luckily, City have got a hard. Oh, sorry, no, they've got Tottenham. Sorry,
got Tottenham at the Etihad. So yeah.
Oh, never mind. What are you going to say, Kev?
Coming in. I said 3-0 as well. I think Salah gets a hat trick tomorrow.
Okay.
I think he's chomping at the bit, and he just needs something to go for him.
Well, I can't say the same as you because we get accused of copying each other.
Yeah, I said the same as Luke, so...
that'll be boring. I'll go 4 then. I'll say Keita, Diaz.
So you're going to say you just
saw a Salah double. And a Salah double.
Yeah, you just saw Kevin Ball's comment there and just decided, Kev is usually right.
Well, he said he's got Diaz hat-trick. I've gone just 1 for Diaz, 2 for Salah.
I've got Diaz to score tomorrow. I think he'll get his first goal.
I think he'll get it, I'd like to see that.
Although I have jokingly said to people that Diaz will score his first goal, it'll be the winner in the cup final, which would be quite nice. Be nice for once.
I'll take that as well.
Yeah, the first time ever I got a prediction right, but we'll take that if it comes.
Well, it's 3 p.m. It's a live game on Premier Sport over here, thank God. So I'm not going to have to go hunting for streams or anything. But the post match will be here, myself and Gav, straight after the game tomorrow. So I hope you all can join us for that.
We'll talk about Everton. Come on.
Can we talk about Everton? Do we? Look,
Everton's on to.
Everton go down to Southampton to St Mary's.
Who had? Let's be honest. For Everton, jokes aside, that Leeds was a big result for them.
Yeah.
That was a banana.
Not a fan of that Lampard appointment, though. Not a fan.
No, but who cares?
Got a job based on his name.
Not very much.
I don't think he's a great manager at all.
No, I don't know. I don't see him long term.
And he'll be out within 18 months. The second he goes like 5 defeats in a row, the Evertons will go. He's not an Everton man. He doesn't know anything about the club.
You're giving him a lot more credit than I would. I reckon they'll turn on him in 3.
3.
So let's have a look.
I mean, in fairness,
the big loss for Everton is Yerry Mina is the big loss for them. I think Coleman still out as well. I mean, I know he's new in the job, but he wasn't very flattering Frank about the options he had to bring in. I think how to describe Ken, he said, "Oh, yeah, Ken, we brought him because he was what we had." Which it's
but Patterson's on the bench though. That's got signed in January.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to question that bit, but it's more like, I mean, it's not exactly building the lad up saying we put him on because he was the one we had. It doesn't exactly. It doesn't strike
to learn how to talk to players again after that. Something that he sincerely lacked.
The left back is due back. The left back is due back, whose name I cannot pronounce. The young Ukrainian lad, because he's missed a couple of games due to COVID, and Decore is close to return, so he's a maybe. But Gray's out, Godfrey's out, Mina's out, and Delpha's out. So Mina and Gray are big losses.
Yeah.
Because look, Gray's been there. Gray's probably their best player this year.
In fairness to Hasenhüttl, he's got Southampton playing pretty decent stuff at the minute. They're a good side to watch, and I like Borja up front. I don't know what Chelsea are going to do with him.
And they've got Bednarek and Eloise both available, despite being forced off.
Yeah.
But they've got Nathan Teller as a doubt, who's been a good player for them. But yeah, Southampton, they're a side just on the quiet. You're going, shit, the 10th. Just on the quiet, they've just been gradually picking up points.
I wonder, can you see him, Ralph Hasenhüttl, at Leicester? Well, Luke's just dropped. Hopefully he'll get back in a second.
Sorry about that. That's my internet just...
As you said, Hasenhüttl, Luke went, sack this off. I'm not having this conversation.
No, you're in the heart of the Welsh Valleys, so in all fairness, you're going to have to expect...
I live outside of Wrexham, so it shouldn't be that bad, but this is a common theme, which is not great.
Yeah, so I can't decide with Hasenhüttl whether... Part of me thinks he's a good manager, but he has some... And now I don't ask because the squad got, but he has some absolute cracker results.
He goes...
6-0, 8-0. You're like, he's very up and down.
He did really well with Leipzig, didn't he? He did really well with Leipzig. Took them to second in the Bundesliga. And the players that he had have all kicked on. Some of like Naby was one of them.
I don't see him going to like a Man United or a Chelsea or Liverpool. He probably might need to find the like a side that's you expect in Europa League that want to push into top four. Leicester, yeah. That's probably what his next step should be, is do that with a Leicester and then move up a level.
Maybe a Spurs, maybe they'll...
The talk I've seen with him in the press was that he's... The length of time he's been at Southampton and in the Premier League, the pressure of the job, he needs a break.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, then... he's done with England and he wants to go back to Germany, and he's got his eyes fixed maybe on Dortmund.
Possibly, yeah. Because
I mean, we'll touch quickly on that last night. Did any of you guys watch it?
I saw the highlights and I thought, wow,
well,
awful defending.
Let's watch Barca. Lazio. This might be a good game. It was dog shit, by the way. Absolute crap. Watching Adama Traore run the ball up his own arse. Brilliant. Don't know what I was thinking.
Yes, Adama Traore runs down the wing, checks and puts a chippy floaty ball.
No, he just checks and passed it back. And that was it. And let the fullback put it across it. You're like, brilliant.
That's worse.
Knockout. As then I saw it flash up. Have you seen Rangers are winning? I thought, oh, flick over. And I watched it then and it went 3-0. I thought, oh, this is great. 3-1.
Ryan Kent for the third goal. Something else, wasn't it?
The slight killer for Rangers was conceding that second.
Yeah, that was
they're not out of it.
Because now you're going, well, Dortmund only need to win 2-0, which is not an impossible.
But no, it's away goals don't matter.
No, Dortmund needs to win 2-0 to take the extra time.
Yeah,
so
a two-goal gap is nothing.
That's nothing. 4-1 would have been the best one, because then you're going, look, you got to score 3 just to stay in the tie.
Yeah, that's a different kettle of fish.
That's a different kettle of fish. So,
I still fancy Dortmund to go through.
So did anyone see Jude Bellingham's post-match?
I didn't see his post-match. No, what did he say?
I was like, what a leader. Save him. Stop Liverpool. Go and get him.
He pretty much called his team. He just called his team out and basically said, that isn't good enough, but when I'm out of this, I can't bring Rangers on. I can't wait for it. But he's very complimentary when he said, he goes like, Ibrox is one of the most iconic stadiums, and I can't wait to play it. bring it on. We're coming.
That's a
We're coming to get.
mentality.
We're coming to get through. I went, that's what you want to hear. And you go like, he's only 21.
No, he's 18.
18.
He's 18.
But you spoke with that sort of maturity. You went, that's impressive. You know, so
he won't be there long, and wherever he ends up,
I
hope we do get him.
I don't see him leaving in the summer though.
I think he'll leave the summer after because
Dortmund tends to do one big sale or something. They're normally pretty good at resisting to it. Listen, money talks. You may be able to get 2 out of them, but genuinely they tend to do one big one, and there'll be a Haaland's going because of the buyout clause. They have to go. Definitely. Interestingly,
you see Haaland's reaction to that game. He was watching like, oh dear, can't wait till I'm leaving in the summer.
Yeah. The interesting about Haaland though, I'm not saying look. I don't think he's coming to Liverpool, so we can. So we're very quick little fans to slag off players who are never available and aren't very trustworthy. Someone sent to me. I had to Google it. Haaland's injury records on the quiet, not great. Now he's very young. He's very young, so I would say to him, Gerrard's injury record when he was in his early 20s wasn't great because he had a back issue, and then he was fine after that. He was pretty available all the time, so he could do that. But actually, on the quiet, he misses a lot of games.
Yeah,
and they're always niggly.
Especially this
one
season.
Game here, 2 games here. But after when you look at it, they all add up. So the interesting thing about it. Anyway, I've got 2 on Southampton.
I've got 3-1. Luke?
I've 1-1.
Right.
Southampton are just that up and down team. Like some weeks they'll play really well, and then there's some teams where they'll get absolutely played off the park, and you're like, what?
Definitely when you wouldn't be putting them in your accumulator, would you? Let's be honest.
Oh my God, no.
Right. I mean, the beauty about this weekend is we play first, so we get the chance to put a bit of pressure on City. City kick off the 5:30 game against Spurs at home on the back of a soft performance in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a glorified training session.
But it's only like when we battered Porto 5-0.
Yeah,
the year we got on the Kiev. Yeah, you know, as much. You know, some people lauded it as one of these things like Porto Sporting. It's kind of what you do, and they kind of get to the last 16.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo's mum was in the crowd watching that game as well.
Yeah,
because they were panning to her, just looking like that she was going to cry.
Yeah, and this is not me being salty, because if you flip the results around, if we'd beat Sporting 5-0 and City got a 2-0 win against Inter, I would be saying the City 2-0 win against Inter is a much more impressive result.
Yeah, because I thought all the games in Europe this week in the Champions League anyway were tight affairs, and apart from the City one was the anomaly. I mean, Bayern 1-1. That was versus Salzburg. I mean, Bayern dominated the ball, something like 72% possession or something stupid like that. But possession for the sake of possession, as we've discussed it before, it's pointless. And for me, it makes me think about the quality and depth of the Bundesliga as a whole.
Yeah.
Is it all it's cracked up to be? You know, because we can only judge the Bundesliga, the French league, Serie A, and La Liga when they come out of their domestic leagues and take on the rest of Europe. And look, as good as Inter were against us, we didn't allow them to have a shot at goal. And for the chances that Salzburg had, they will be pretty sick at only scoring 1.
Yeah, they should have got more than what we did.
Should have got more. But City Spurs.
Part of me just thinks City win, LOL, because that's kind of what City do.
Yeah, especially at home against Spurs.
But Spurs have a decent record against them.
Yeah, and Spurs
only at home though.
But
only
Spurs
out lane.
Yeah, well, Spurs have got a few big draws at City. Not many, but they've had a few. The Champions League, I think the year we won the league, they got a 2-2. So it is possible. They've got players come back. Got a few players coming from injury, but Spurs. I just don't know. I don't know which Spurs turns up.
They want to see Conte's interview. Basically saying we've got 1% chance of finishing in the top 4.
I think he's. I thought
he doesn't agree with the vision of Spurs. I'm thinking.
Yeah, there was another quote he said. He goes, "The club's vision is to bring in youth. Now I know what the club's vision is." Which I thought
you should have known that anyway.
You should have known before you started, but also that's a dig to say I'm not getting the money I want.
Yeah.
So it's an interest though, because I'm a bit like if you bring someone like Conte, you've got to give him the money because that's kind of the type of manager he is. Not criticism, that's just he is what he is.
That is what he is.
He is what he is. But then also part of me, Conte's going, but you went with Daniel Levy, and you saw what he did with Mourinho. So I'm a bit like.
Plus, he turned down the job in the summer for probably not getting the resources, and he's probably been lied to by Levy, like saying, "Okay, Antonio, we'll give you what you want. Please come in." And he's come in, and Daniel Levy's gone, "Yeah, we're not going to give him what we promised him," and that only is going to end one way. He's going to blow up, and then he'll leave in the summer.
Do you see him ending up at Old Trafford?
It would suit him. Financially, it would suit him better because he would get backed. But the stuff you hear coming out Man United, I mean, I have been laughing at Gary Neville. He's going like, he goes, "Is this what happens at other clubs? They brief other players." I was like,
the biggest hypocrite in football.
I'm like, turn your crocodile tears off. Guess what? Some of that shit did actually happen when Fergie was winning stuff. Players who weren't playing, it was leaked that they weren't fucking happy. Just didn't happen as often because we're like, shut up, you're winning the league, shut up. But that's not a new thing. That's been going on for forever. Players who aren't happy leak it to the press saying not me, Gov.
And you can tell. I mean, there was one game there recently that we were given insight into a starting lineup hours, and I mean hours before kickoff. Like it was the morning of the game or the day before the game or something stupid, and you just thought that's just weird. That shit that used to happen at Liverpool back in the end of the
one.
It might have been, yeah, but it's
Leicester, like when someone leaked their team out, and apparently, I was talking to Callum about this. It was Danny Ward that was leaking it at Liverpool.
That was the rumor.
He's at Leicester, and now he's doing the same thing.
Well, it was the same. It was the thing that used to happen at the end of the Rodgers era, Liverpool, that we all knew the lineups well in advance. It was floating around everyone's WhatsApp groups.
I'll be honest,
that the end is now when that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, you do to a point, but then again, it's still happening now. I still get WhatsApps and that tell me the team will have a good hour before the game.
Yeah, like an hour you could cope with because I
even think an hour before the game. I don't know how this just shouldn't get out.
No, but that could easily be someone printing match programs. Do you know what I mean?
It could be.
Or someone getting a team sheet.
The worst one for Liverpool was everyone knew the day before we played at Old Trafford that Rodgers was going to try three at the back. And we probably, do you know what? It nearly worked.
Was that the Sterling up front when he was
Sterling up front? And do you know what? We lost 1-0, but actually it would have worked. But United, and people will laugh, but if United and people aren't stupid, if you see a regular team getting leaked on the internet and you're going, that's been right a few times, anyone will work around United. We'll put it in there going, listen, the rumour is this. This rumour's been right 3 times. What do we do if they do that? Well, prep this just in case. We'll run it past the team. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And when it does, you go, nah, there's no surprise.
Well, how do you guys see City Spurs? I think City will make changes, and I think I think City win 4-1.
Oh, do you remember that, Barry? The bib theory. Do you remember that one for Liverpool?
Yeah, that was good.
That was a podcast at one point as well, I think.
Yeah.
The bib theory. But it was. They had to stop doing that, take a pitch because he knew who the team was. I remember that one. Look, my head says City win comfortably, but do you know, for shits and giggles, I'll say 1-1. It should be fun.
Do you know what, Chris? My heart is saying a 1-1, but my head
saying 4-0 City.
Because Spurs look. If Spurs set up the way that they played against us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, then he might have a chance. But they haven't played like that since they played us.
But even the likes of Southampton,
we've got
draws
and Wolves.
They Southampton got draws with City too. Still sat very deep, but when they got the ball, they attacked in numbers and give City a bit of a scare. Yeah. You've got to be, and listen, on another day, City beat Southampton 3 or 4-0, and they catch them on the break. You've got to be. It's a risk reward. You've got to be brave. You can't be passive against City. If you're passive against City, you're just delaying the inevitable because they will find a way. So you've got to find a way of putting them under pressure. Especially when it annoys me when Norwich can't do this to City. But when they're playing a centre back at left back, you should be targeting that. Because when City tried that with Liverpool, we did that and we got points off them.
Yeah.
And we got wins off them in Champions League to try to
I was close to taking the lead against City, but you just knew that second they hit the post, it was like, it's not going to be their day for a shot.
Yeah. So, you've got to be brave against it. Look, at least Harry Kane's found a bit of form. Son's back. So they have got guys who can
guys who can finish.
That can finish. So it's just, can you get the ball to them?
Can you get the ball to them often enough in the right areas?
Yeah.
They've got a threat going forward. There's no doubt about it. But can they keep this City out? Are they brave enough on the ball? We'll see. I've got City.
They also need the keeper to not push the ball straight into a striker's foot because honestly, God, I've never seen so many ricks. It's ridiculous.
There's two more. There's two more games to get to. Leeds against Manchester United.
3-1 Man United.
I've got 4-1 Man United.
Because
is that Ellen Road, isn't it?
It is, but Leeds do what Leeds do all season. And look, I know they've had injuries and that, and they've got a lot of kids on the bench, but they're still doing the "you score 4, we'll score 5" mentality. It's loads of teams now this year have picked them off doing this. Look, Everton like the Haaland goal drops against them last week. It was so easy for Everton to pick them off. And listen, we can talk about United, Harry Maguire, and how shocking they're at the back, how they can't win games. United have got goals in them, and they've got pace, and they've got pace in them.
Yeah,
goals and pace against a very wide open team. It's asking for trouble. Now, listen, it might be closer because look, they hate each other. It's basically a derby, so you might see a bit of tastiness in the game.
I just don't think this generation of players get that.
I just can't see United to win.
I think the Gary Neville era player got that rivalry because Leeds were a first division side.
I think the fans still have it though.
The fans still have it,
but I think will make the atmosphere, which will make the atmosphere great.
Yeah.
The thing is, with that atmosphere, are you going to expect the United players to raise the level up, or are you going to expect them to crumble like they have probably most of the season when the pressure's been turned on? United have
away from home though. It suits United.
Yeah,
it's still pretty decent. It's actually when the pressure's at home. That's when they're struggling. It's the home record that's not as good. Away wise,
3-2 United.
I just can't see anything but a Manchester United win. Love to be wrong, but Leeds are just way too open. And
Leeds got a horrible run. They've got United, then they've got us. I think they've got Tottenham. Away. So
they might get something out of the Spurs game.
It's tough. It's still a tough run, though. Especially you just done Liverpool and United back to back. That's going to take a lot of energy out of you.
Yeah.
So
I think Bielsa might be off in the summer anyway. Just got that feeling that he might go taking this team as far as I can, and then there'll be a big job for someone to take in the summer.
They're lucky enough that they probably got enough to stay up, Leeds.
I would think so. Yeah, I think there are 3 or 4 teams worse than them.
But I just think they've been very naive this year. They've been naive in the transfer market in the January window where I think they needed to do business and they didn't. And I think Bielsa has been naive in the way he set sides out. That he didn't do the players that he was putting out on the pitch any favours by setting them up in a way to help them. He set them up in his way and said the players have to adapt, which is fine in theory and on paper, but in reality, sides have had an analyst have had a season to look at you and to analyze you and to work you out, and now they've come up with plans to pull you around the park and pick you off. And pretty much most sides in the Premier League have capable players and quick players that can exploit weaknesses in most sides. So look, I just think Leeds are lucky. They'll stay in the division, but they need to have a rethink in the summer about what their plans are for going forward.
Especially, you expect Rafinha to go in the summer as well, so it's going to be a little bit of a remodeling of how they play.
Were Leeds more pragmatic at the back end of last season?
They were.
I used to speak to Joe from All Leeds TV. I think we'd looked as I think it said last season from the January to the end of the season. I think they had the first or second best defensive record at home, and they just went a little bit more pragmatic. Now, I'm not saying they went Burnley edge of the deep. They didn't park the bus. They just dropped 10 yards deeper and made the gaps smaller, so they just got a bit more compact. when they got the ball, they went and they went at you hard. Just off the ball, they were just that little bit more secure, a little bit more compact, and just a bit harder to break down. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
But
we finished up with Wolves Leicester.
2-1 Wolves.
1-0 Wolves.
I've gone 2-0 Wolves. Purely simply.
Leicester lose, Rodgers.
That's the rumour, isn't it?
Goodbye.
There is a rumour going around that could be it for Brendan.
Well, he's burying everyone, isn't he? So we were trying to work out.
Plus, he's fallen out with the director of football as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's got fallen for that.
Yeah.
But is
I
it a
fully
case?
expect Graham Potter to take that job. Like that is for me the next step for him.
Yeah, possibly. I wonder if Graham Potter leave Brighton.
Because I think Dan Ashworth is leaving Brighton to go.
Yeah, Dan Ashworth has gone to Newcastle,
which is a clever
massive, I think. So
clever signing for Newcastle.
Really good signing, yeah.
Because that's what the Newcastle needed from the lady we've had on from
Newcastle.
Oh, her name escapes me. No, we had a Newcastle fan on the show with Kev.
Kendall.
Sorry,
yes.
Kendall, yeah.
She was explaining, how behind the scenes they got nothing because of what actually left them. So they've got to build a whole structure behind them. That's probably why some of the transfers have looked a bit scattergun because there isn't really a structure there.
Which is why the shrewd move.
That's a clever move.
Yeah, very clever move.
That's sensible planning ahead. That is planning for where you want to be. My worries are they go for someone like a Michael Edwards and you go, oh, shit. But, something like that's what they need.
Yeah, I went 2-0 because I think Wolves have quietly gone about. I think they're top of the who the fuck needs them club. And that's the best. They're like, if you're watching boxing, then they're the heavyweight that's awkward and left-handed and moves and can jab and
catch you at any time.
And can't knock you out, but they can make you look like a muppet.
Yeah, they are the side that you would expect any top six side to beat.
Yeah.
But you got to be on your game.
Haven't we been like the only top six side to beat Wolves this season in the league?
Us and City. City beat them at home.
Oh yes, yeah. But I think it's only been us two.
But us and City, I mean, we beat them with a last minute Origo, and City beat them with a late-ish penalty. Against 10 men, they made it difficult for City. So
I've been really impressed with him coming in.
If you make it difficult for Liverpool and City, what you do is other clubs. You know what I mean? So, they're just really well organised, and so far
it's a local derby as well. Midlands derby.
It'd be good. I think it'd be
huge pressure on Brendan.
Yeah, it'd be an intriguing game.
Still crumble.
Because the mad thing about Leicester is they've got goals in them. Because they've got
Stacker at 8.
Yeah, I mean, so
he's not coped with that Fofana injury, and he panicked with Vestergaard, and that signing is not.
I thought Vestergaard would do well because I thought he was good at Southampton, but hasn't worked. Soyuncu apparently is out with a knee injury. Johnny Evans,
that might be a positive.
Yeah, Johnny Evans is sadly he's just getting to that age where he's getting more injuries now than playing. But look, he's been a brilliant footballer. He's just getting to that age where it catches everyone out. So, but they've got some very good young fullbacks. Yeah. But so when you have to play Ndidi at centre back, it doesn't help.
I think Ricardo Pereira signed a new deal with Leicester to 2026. Well, that came out today as well.
It's good for them because he's a good player.
He's a very good player.
And he's come back from 2 very bad injuries. The ACL and obviously the bad tackle from Morton, which we got. Well, let's be fair, we got away.
Henry the Eighth there with a great comment. Wolves are the most boring side since the 1-0 Arsenal under George Graham. You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
You know what?
It works.
That will get you into Europe.
Which is what
even if it's the conference.
No, second.
I think that's what Wolves wants, isn't it? Wolves need that. With the agencies to go out and the Portuguese players they get into the club and it works really well for them. I think they need to get into a European spot so they can get the next caliber of, the next Ruben Neves and people like that to then take them up, to get them someone who is the new Traore, probably but can cross. But you know what I mean? That sort of speed person or that next level up winger. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Pedro
Neto has been a huge miss for them. I mean,
he's back. He's coming back, isn't he? I mean, is it nearly 18 months now?
Yeah,
I mean, I know quite a few fans who like him. I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. I generally wouldn't. I'd say you've got to give me I think you got to give him a year at Wolves to see can he reclaim on, because it's a very bad knee injury. Listen, I hope he goes back to what he was, because he was a fabulous player for that knee.
He was a great player to watch, wasn't he? And in fairness, they got the likes of Podence as well, which I like. I love Ruben Neves. And João Moutinho, for me, is such a cultured centre midfielder. He's a proper cultured centre midfielder that I just like watching him. He's just one of those players.
Is it Kilman? The young centre back?
Max Kilman,
He's doing well. And to be fair, who's done very well, who's someone who I thought would be shite for them, has been the keeper. Sar's done well, because all I think for Sar is Sar was the keeper when we beat him 5-0 at Porto, and he had an absolute mess.
Yeah, he went to
when they signed him, I was like, why did they sign this fella?
He went to Olympiacos on the back of that, I think.
Yeah, so I thought I had no real sort of faith in him, but hey, listen, got it wrong. Hold my hands up. He's been really good for him this year.
Yes.
So
look, it's an interesting weekend of football. The relegation zone and the European spots are starting to take a bit of shape now, and I think it's going to be a massive. There's this next 2-3 weeks, you're going to see big splits in the table, and hopefully Spurs can do a job, and we'll see where we are. But Anfield Lark was in the chat earlier on, chatting quickly about the Amir Khan fight. Yeah, we all pretty much said the same, that it's a pension plan, but it'll be a great fight. It'll be an interesting fight for 4 or 5 rounds, but then it's going to be a case of who's properly trained. Khan has the skills to outbox Cal Brook and keep him at a distance. I don't know how Brook's eye holds up. He's had such a bad injury.
The second Khan just dangles that chin out, Brook's got a chance, because all he needs
he's got
to do
a chance.
is just clip him once.
It's one. That's why it's an interesting fight. There is nothing on it. There's no future planning in this fight. But they're at the same age. They're at the same level. They're coming off the same kind of losses against the same caliber of opponents.
Yeah.
And their careers have brought them pretty much to the same level. So while I'm not going to watch it, I am going to listen to it on the radio, and I'll probably watch the highlights when I can find them.
I'll watch the highlights. Not going to be listening to it.
Definitely not parting with cash for that, but I'll stick it on the radio. I've never seen a bad fight in the radio in my life, so I look forward to that one. Yeah. But tomorrow afternoon, 5 p.m., we'll just quickly have a skim through this. WWE Road to WrestleMania is taking a detour to Saudi Arabia. And the elimination.
We'll gloss over that part of it, because
let's just gloss over where it's going to be held.
Yeah,
there's lots of connotation that, but it's
you've got Ronda Rousey's coming back. She's involved.
She looks made up to be there, I tell you.
Yeah, Ronda is. Yeah, but she's definitely a draw, isn't she? You've got Reigns against Goldberg. I mean, Bill Goldberg is.
He's as old as you, Kev.
He is older than me.
My God.
Mid-50s.
By a long way. Cheeky. The chamber match, you've got Lashley, Lesnar, Austin Theory, never heard of the guy. Riddle, never heard of the guy. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins.
Riddle is an ex-UFC fighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he got kicked out of the UFC because he wouldn't stop smoking.
Yes.
Oh. Issues.
And he failed drugs test because of it. Not
right spot, so with Vince.
Not performance answer, just what it was.
No,
just... The only thing I can say about the elimination shirt is it's one of the more fun stipulation matches if you like your wrestling. It's probably the best one they've done since Hell in a Cell.
It is a great concept.
It's got, if you like Survivor Series and you like Hell in a Cell, it's a nice combination. It's a bit mad. Yeah. It looks like a toy, what they fight in, But to be honest, I think the elimination is a bit like the Royal Rumble. It's a bit of good fun to watch. You know what? Just don't take it too seriously. Take it as a bit of like
tossed around.
Yeah, quite well. Steady on now.
Yes,
we are past the watershed, children.
Oh, we get away with that.
Yes, I should have rephrased that better.
Yeah, so
Dad's going to have to edit this.
Yeah, it's a bit of good fun, to be honest. I mean, the rumor going around is Cody Rhodes, is he going to come back to WWE? He's just left AEW. A little bit of a cloud. ex-WWE guy.
I think he definitely comes back. It's just a case of
I don't think he's going to come back in the chamber.
No, I think he might be like the next.
I think he makes an appearance in Raw next week.
I don't know where he fits in though, because he's not gonna. I just don't know. He's left AEW because he wanted to be paid more than Bryan, more than Danielson, more than Punk, and wanted more creative control, more than Tony Khan was willing to give him. And I think the fact that his crowd reactions over the past few months have becoming ever more toxic. I think it was at a stage where Tony was like, "Yeah, we'll let you go." I think people backstage are quite mixed emotions about him leaving. Some are upset he's left. Some are like, yes, his segments were... Some segments of his were car crashes. His wife tend to rub people up the wrong way. But
it's interesting because someone come out and saying she's not like that. She's very private, and people assume because she's very private, she's not.
Reports going up and down.
I think it's all a bit of drama we haven't seen. Isn't it? The one thing she's very good though is I think she did a lot of good charity stuff with AEW. Said a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's what her strength was. There's a lot of
I'll be honest. I don't watch AEW. You guys get it in the UK, but it's a promotion that it needs to work. This move, if Cody does go the other way, will be the first major star to go from WWE to AEW and go back.
Yeah.
If he goes back and he's made to look a fool of, then AEW is a promotion.
Vince thing, because it's going to go one or two ways. He's going to get forced into the title picture, or he's going to be mid-card fodder, getting pinned every week.
I think he'd do the first one to try and say, "Look, what I did something you couldn't do."
This is a massive opportunity for WWE to go. Hey, look, if you're unhappy in AEW, you come over here, and we'll make you a main event.
Right.
But the thing is, WWE are heading. I think their plans for Mania is title for title. So it's going to be Brock versus Roman for the title. But how can you fit Cody in if you've got Brock and Roman fighting for the titles?
This is why there's rumors that they'll do some sort of double-handedness, so Brock doesn't win it. He still goes after Roman to give Cody someone. No, probably Lashley.
However, which way they do it, for me, I've lost interest. I used to watch it. I was religious.
Yeah,
watching it up until about
I watch highlights. I don't sit watch a full show because
up until about 4 years ago, and then it just became stale and the same. And a lot of it is because of the lack of competition WWE has in the industry. And you watch any old footage, you watch any interviews with the likes of Austin, Taker, Ric Flair. You know, when they do their straight interviews, they talk about the Monday Night Wars. They talk about the rivalries between WCW. You have AWA, you had NWA, WCW, World Class Championship Wrestling was another one. You had so many independent territories that created the competition to push everybody else along. That hasn't happened. That's been missing for way too long. I mean, so much so that you've got Becky Lynch, who is a phenomenal talent. And her match is against Lita. You know, I mean, Lita's been out of the game for
But the reason for that, the reason for that is these Saudi shows are a glorified house show. It's basically it's to keep the guy who pays the big bucks happy. I want to see
a legend
in it. So they bring a legend back. Everyone this time it's Lita. To be fair, it looks phenomenal for someone who hasn't wrestled for 10 years. So it'll probably be an okay match. It's got no link to the main card. No, it'll just be there.
But I think once this one is done and dusted and out of the way, WWE will become pretty much
WrestleMania
and entertaining up until WrestleMania.
Yes.
Formula One testing starts back next week. They unveiled
I'd rather watch the boxing.
Well, most of the manufacturers have released the new images of their new cars. It's a whole new design, whole new rules. And you also got Mike Massey, who was the guy who was responsible for the biggest screw job, in my opinion, since Vince McMahon screwed by heart. He's gone. I've got a personal feeling. I think that it was a condition that Lewis Hamilton had, that if he was going to come back and race this year, that Mike Massey was replaced, and the rules that around what happened in Abu Dhabi at the end of the season were changed. But I'm looking forward to the new season because the new car designs, they're designed in ways to streamline the cars so that they've limited the budgets and they've streamlined the cars so that they are designed to pass. They're designed to be able to drive close. And that should create better racing. And that's what everyone wants. The new Drive to Survive series for last season, the release date for Netflix is March, and I bet a pound to a penny that'll be number one in the world for series to watch on Netflix when that comes out in March. That's going to be phenomenal. But look, it's been an unbelievable show. We've covered so much stuff. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Luke, thank you for coming on. Where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Let's Talk Sport on YouTube, and my Twitter handle is just underneath if you want to follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, Luke does some great content on UFC and does some brilliant stuff with Callum Sanderson on the UFC watch-alongs, but he's phenomenal when it comes to combat sports and football.
Yeah,
and he really knows his stuff. And I hope that Luke, I hope we get to have you on again soon. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. Really appreciate it. Bracky, what's the story for you this weekend?
Nothing this weekend. Just staying inside, not getting wet. No, there's no women's football this weekend because it's all international football.
But yeah.
Two big women's things. Liverpool women's captain Niamh Fahey has now got 100 caps for the Republic of Ireland. I think she's the fourth or sixth woman to do it. So fair play. You don't get many people doing 100 caps. Cracking player as well. Nice person. And I'd urge anyone, if you haven't seen it, friend of the show, Emma Sanders on the Beeb, but also it's on the Liverpool website as well. As there is an update on Riley Foster, who is the Liverpool reserve goalkeeper. So to put this in context, Riley Foster last played for us September time. She saved a penalty in a shootout, really, and then went international duty. She went to see friends in Sweden. And unfortunately, within 5 hours landing, it was in a car crash. And the car crash that bad, she went through the windscreen and has 7 fractures in her neck, as well as other injuries. So the poor lady has been in a halo. Now, the good news is she's been told that the 7 fractures have actually healed. So she'll be removing the halo from the 1st of March. So first positive step for her. So if you get to watch it, it's very inspirational because, she's a very positive person and very motivated. With something like that, I could knock anyone for 6. So if you guys have to say, send her, if you can, send her a message. You all need these sort of things at times, but it does remind you that, life forever is a little bit short sometimes. So listen, I'm pleased to see that she's going to be soon out of the halo. She'll be back in a neck brace. So, first positive steps for her. So they're the 2 big women's stories that are coming out at the moment. So fingers crossed for Riley Foster. It all goes well for her.
Brilliant. One other thing as well, our Discord group, our group on Telegram, the link below will be in the show description. It's a really great laugh. And it's mainly for everyone who's in the chat. It's a way to keep in touch with everyone outside of the shows. And it's free. If you guys want to click on the link, put your email address in, download the Telegram app, you'll get an email and you click on the link in the email and it takes you through to the chat room. It gives you an option it is completely free. It gives you an option if you want to pay $2.99 a month. If you decide to do that, that $2.99 will go to Féileacáin, which is our charity, and the content is exactly the same. There's no paywall or anything, but if you want to, happy days. If not, then you get the content for free. But join it. It is such a good laugh. And because there's so many people from all corners of the world, if you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're bored out your brains, chuck something in the chat, and there'll be a few people in there to chat to, and you can chat football and whatever crap you want to chat about. If you want to chat about baked bean omelette recipes that you can make in a sandwich maker, they're all in there.
Don't say puddings.
Oh yeah, black and white pudding. That's a good discussion.
No, it's not. It's a horrible discussion.
But listen, I just want to say thank you to all of you in the chat. If you could click the like button on your way out. Anything that you guys would like us to cover, please drop suggestions in the chat, and the comment section below would be really appreciated. And we will hope to see you all next week. Myself and Gav will be here tomorrow for the post-match show, and roll on tomorrow for 3 o'clock kickoff against Norwich. Good night.